Awesome date, September 29th, 2012, at 4 in the frickin' morning. Awesome topic, Anime Weekend Atlanta 2012. This is the awesome chainsaw cast buffet thing.
Who do we want? OSMcast. Who do we need? OSMcast. Whoa!
Yes, this is, unfortunately, the Chainsaw Buffet podcast. We're joined once again by our friends from OSMcast here at Anime Week in Atlanta.
SationCon!
Fucking tired of hearing about SationCon, Basil.
It's only the second best anime convention ever.
Maybe third, fourth, I don't know. I haven't been.
I don't know. SationCon's pretty good. I mean, you don't know. You didn't go. You have no idea how awesome it is. Now Charlie, in his ravishing T-shirt selections, knew all about SationCon.
True.
And Dylan, the Have of my heart, knew about SationCon.
The Have. Does that mean that in your heart he's on the phone all the time?
So, yeah, sometimes.
Oh my God.
Congratulations, you've been relegated to help desk.
I've been there before.
That's definitely not what I meant, but we'll save that for another day.
You are Basil's personal help desk.
But we are neither at SationCon nor Hamacon. We're at different con. We're at Anime Weekend Atlanta.
We're going off the rails constantly on this.
Going off the rails and unplugged.
So what do people think of AWA?
It sucked.
Oh,
Did it? Because
here's the thing. I'm just gonna be out with it. As far as podcasting stuff, they have to do all the fucking work, and that just sucks. Okay, if I'm gonna do all the work, I want to do it from the comfort of my home. I don't want to drive 3 hours into fucking Georgia to do it. Fucking hate Georgia.
God,
fuck Georgia.
Do you hate every state that's not Tennessee?
I hate Tennessee. I fuck Tennessee. That place fucking sucks. Have you been there?
Pessimistic.
Only occasionally. Is there a state you would like to drive through or to?
No.
Okay.
There's
Congratulations, you are now the Walter of this group.
I hate America. I'd leave it if I could, but I can't afford to. So,
where would you go?
We've had this discussion on the podcast.
I don't remember it, and it's late. So
It was something in regards to me hating Captain America and thus hating America.
So Zimbabwe, is that what I'm hearing?
No, Somalia. Somalia would be better for him.
Luxembourg.
No, he's the Somalian. Charlie is the Somalian of the group. I made a few comments, like Japan or Canada or Britain, but they would all fucking get real tired of me real fast.
Or you them.
Either way, I fucking hate everybody.
There's no place good on the planet, therefore, to space!
Back to the original question,
That's
then.
the original question.
Anyway, sucks. So, what did you guys do?
Well, I ended up getting stuck on the cosplay tracks of AWA, mostly because my wife went to the cosplay contest, and oh my god, the egos.
Did she participate? Or?
She did, Journeyman. She participated in the Journeyman category.
What was her costume?
She was Neo Queen Serenity, and even though she...
And I have no idea who the fuck that is.
From Sailor Moon.
Sailor Moon, Neo Queen Serenity.
That's exactly what.
It is the adult version of
It's when Sailor Moon goes to the prom.
Yes,
It's what the outfit
it's pretty much what it is.
When
And
Sailor Moon grows up and becomes queen of everything, God help our souls.
yeah, apparently AWA is one of the very few cons where saying that you got an award from here actually means something, unlike, surprisingly, Dragon Con or Otakon. Apparently getting an award there is...
I put bandages over my nipples and my vagina, and I got an award from Dragon Con.
Exactly.
Really?
In your defense, that's pretty impressive considering you have neither nipples or a vagina.
I'm speaking...
How do you know this, Basil, and why did you
That's a
share?
great question.
You don't have nipples, so...
We should
I
touch
didn't
butt
say
later.
it doesn't say that John does.
Moving
John
along.
is so manly. John is so manly, his nipples went away.
And my penis inverted.
There's no moving along in these podcasts.
Okay, moving aside. Moving aside.
So, cosplayers, ego, sanity, none.
There is plenty of sanity to be had, but there's a lot
But
of
it's all
snobbery to be had.
outside
And
of
if there's anything I've learned in watching cosplayers in the cosplay contest, there is a lot of snobbery and there's a lot of pride. Fortunately, the snobbery is much lower this year than it was in previous years, both from my own experience and from what other cosplayers have been telling me.
I frankly don't understand how there could be snobbery amongst a group of predominantly female contestants getting together for a virtual, cock waving of thread weaving.
Because some of those cock wavers are professional cock wavers, and they're the ones that look down the noses on everyone else.
And
Because they make money.
People
from
I've
it.
never even heard of until they show up at a convention as an alleged guest.
Yes.
Oh.
And apparently, it
You
gets...
can be alleged guest to fill out some convention's program.
Well, come on now. Cosplay is legitimately a very large hobby in the anime community. So much so that you will find websites dedicated to individual cosplay artists, even though with a gallery of their costumes, even though the artists themselves have no knowledge of said websites. It's as creepy as it sounds.
Wow.
And yet not surprising. I mean,
No, it's not.
And it's so annoying when they make you take those down. I mean, yeah.
Not those kind of websites, Kevin. Your tastes are for other men.
His tastes are for other.
That implies the wrong thing.
No, sir.
Actually, it implies a lot of different things. Some of which may be wrong, some of which may be right.
But yeah, I found AWA, a lot of the things I wanted to go to, I was like, oh, that looks interesting. Oh, that looks interesting. Oh, wait. All of those are Basil's panels. There's a big 7-hour stretch of nothing for me to go to.
I didn't notice that, and I don't know if I've missed this in years past, but the schedule was kind of staggered. There were a lot of panels starting at like 2:30, where the
Yes, there were.
versus 2.
Yeah, I've noticed the staggering, and if you look on the schedule right now, there's also half-hour blanks. This allows. This came up in Dragon Con as well, and it's either because they didn't have enough panels, which is likely, or because they wanted to give room for people to run around to the next panel and give prep time, or spill over time and spill under time, because quite frankly, a lot of panels start late or end late.
Well, and I've had the experience where, and this is just my fault this year, where I've been running like 5 or 10 minutes late to every panel, and they're in small panel rooms.
Oh yeah, the Americans panel room was
those like smallest panel rooms, like the
117,
the 117s and around there. Those are
Yeah.
tiny, and
There's nothing
they've
you
been
can do
full
about
before I
No,
got
you can't. You can't do anything about
I
it.
noticed a couple panels that had previously been in much larger, in previous years, had been in much larger rooms, like Kennesaw or over past where they do the concerts, and they put them for some reason this year in those little panel rooms.
Well,
Which panel was this? Do you remember which panels? Yeah.
Well, one of them was one of yours, because I remember one of the earlier years, like years recently, was put in Kennesaw.
Right. Well, I'm assuming that this is one of those things where they also have certain events that they have to put in Kennesaw and those other places. And so all the other panels have to fit around those things. Like, for example, English Jamboree this year was opposite the talk with Frederick Schote, who is one of the original authors of anime and manga in the U.S., period. He's one of the first guys who translated manga in the U.S. He wrote some of the first books about anime and manga in the U.S. The man is a frickin' hero.
Yeah.
As far as the anime fandom goes. And so if they want to put him on a panel in Kennesaw opposite mine, I'll take the smaller room.
Well, that's
I am more than willing to give that up if they decide that was when my panel needed to be, and that was the available spot.
yeah. Looking at
Last year, though, didn't they put the Manime panel in a much larger room? Like,
No, Manime was in one of the smaller rooms last year,
was it?
now
and they got really big, and they put him in a better room this year.
Okay. That was one that I couldn't get into because it was.
No.
There's some panels that are just going to fill up. And AWA is such an interesting con because the panels that you would normally not expect to fill up do.
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah.
They do.
I barely got into the Lupin panel, for example.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually filled up, and I was able to say, A, I'm pressed, B, I'm too fat to fit in those chairs with all those other people in those chairs beside me. So just let me stand over here.
Yeah.
And the guy was too he was like, okay, go over there.
I've noticed that
You're the only
almost
one that can do this, but
that there are very few panels that did not have lines going into them, honestly. Well,
I don't know.
for the few that I went to, again, for me, and for the interests I have, which are fairly general, there's large stretches of nothing or Basil. And I've already seen Basil's panels and others' cons.
But
there are other good panels. You just weren't paying attention. No one
There-
pays
there were-
attention.
There were good panels there, but again, I was stuck with the costume tracks.
Like, for example, there are plenty of panels that I wanted to go see that I did not have a chance to. I even have a list. I wanted to go to Ancient Anime by Walter Amos or Robert Fenelon.
Ditto.
It was full.
Full. I got into the Art of Fan Service, which we'll get into in a moment. That was great.
American's Anime.
I wanted to go to Salary Manga because that sounded interesting, but I was during Anime Hell.
Yeah.
I wanted to, in the morning, go to Tim Eldred's Anime Treasure Chest. It was full.
Yeah. The large stretches of nothing wasn't for a lack of
Wait.
content. It was for...
Treasure chest was full?
Yeah.
I didn't have any problem getting in. There was plenty of room.
Okay, then I was wrong. I was also asleep at that time. I just assumed that was full.
Dang
it.
Americans in Anime was ridiculously full. There was a line stretching across the hallway 20 minutes before the panel began.
Really?
Yes, we could.
Yeah.
You and I think you showed up there earlier? No, Basil showed.
We walked past,
you two
yeah.
walked past me. I was there. The door was locked at 5:10. This door, because there was too many people inside. The panel started at 5:30.
I know yesterday the Japanese cooking
Yeah, that one
panel filled up, and Ghosts of Japan got very close to being filled up. I know there was a line in the hallway, and I was just like, yeah, I'm not going to deal with that.
Well, panel directors, they try their best to figure out how big is this panel going to fill up. And they usually base, so much a portion of the population that you expect. That being said, sometimes they also read the description and hear what the panelist says. Yeah, usually I fill up, usually I get so many people, and they judge. But again, Basil pointed out, you also have big ticket guests.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have.
Well, that and 80 Boy, it also depends on your venue space.
It is.
Yeah.
It
they
heavily
have-
depends.
I mean,
on
besides they have their main events and there's not so many events in Kennesaw. Those are the only big rooms they've got here.
Mhm.
Everything else are much smaller panel rooms. And in fact, the ones that Americans in Anime were is actually two even smaller panel rooms that they put together to form one bigger panel room. That's actually the size of the other smaller panel rooms.
Mhm.
And those are new rooms.
I have
They
noticed.
didn't have those last year.
That's true. I have noticed also that the video room schedule is growing over the years. Galleria, when at AWA first came here, had AMVs, maybe live action, and at most 2 video rooms. Now I see 3 video rooms, a classic anime room, a live action room, and AMVs. And that took down the number of large rooms to have panels in. For instance, Tyndall, which is classic anime, that's where you would host your crazy fandoms like, the yaoi panels, the hentai panels, the Hatalia panels, the My Little Pony panels, if My Little Pony was around back then. Those were where you had your crazy, you're going to have a bunch of people coming in no matter what panels. Now, they're relegated to the convention floor, which is much smaller rooms.
Yeah, and then also moved analog gaming to the Sheraton. And
They
I think
did.
they gave them another panel room, I think.
No, it's
or
all in the
another video
Sheraton.
room.
They gave them the video rooms have also grown. That used to be just one large room, then it became 2 because,
You
the
mean video games?
video games has grown to 4 rooms, some of them double rooms. Yeah, it used to start off as one large room, one very stinky room.
Yeah, it's really just a case of 80 Boy is growing and they're trying to spread out their content
You're looking
as
at
much as possible, and it's
what we're looking at is growing pains and stretch marks.
Yeah, I wasn't complaining. It was more that that was my excuse for not going to as many panels as.
yeah. Well, there was and I don't know, and I think it's overall they've expanded so many rooms, and I think they probably. So when we say there was a lack of panels, why they have gaps, it doesn't mean there was a lack of panels. It means they had so much more space to put panels in. I bet there's probably overall more panels per hour this year than there were last year.
Oh, agreed.
But because they've grown it out, there are spaces, but those don't help.
No.
What I noticed in a lot of cases happened, instead of using that 30 minutes, to move from panel to panel or whatever.
Or prep.
Yeah, the panels would just run over, and you'd have that.
See, I was going to make this comment earlier, but got
Yeah,
sidetracked.
no, I understand.
Every time that anyone wants to stretch out the schedule. And it's always a smart idea, to give the next panelist time set.
Yeah.
The assholes in the one before it, they just run until time.
That's true.
It happens every time. And if you're one of those panelists that do it, fuck you.
Basil didn't do that.
Well, let's
He
also
did some.
let's also note that the staggering and the blank spots were not synchronized. A lot of other conventions, if they're going to host if they're going to host 15 or 30-minute blank spots between panels,
I mean, Dragon Con.
Dragon Con especially, they'll host it all synchronized. Dragon Con has a reason for that. That con is fucking huge.
No, I understand, but they built it into the
They built it into the
schedule.
system. This is haphazard. I would say the reason why you and I probably did not, especially Basil, did not go to the panels, or we had large stretches of nothing where we just go off and eat instead, is not for a lack of things we wanted to see. It's because they were all consolidated together in prime time.
Yeah.
Like, also, in my defense, I actually had 2 panels that I could run over in. Because there was a 30-minute block between. One of them I did, but I only ran over 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So the other panel would still have 15 minutes of open space to move in. The other one I actually did exactly on time because I wanted to go to the Americans Anime panel.
Yeah.
Which was literally, mine ended at like 5 and theirs started at 5 or whatever time it was.
Whatever time it was, yeah.
And
5:30, actually.
I got there and they're like, I can't let you in. I'm like, but my panel just ended. I can't let you in.
Yeah,
Fire codes suck.
Yeah,
Which,
that's what it was.
I mean, they're necessary.
Oh, definitely.
They suck.
But the fire codes give cons interesting challenges. They do. But, where was I going with this? Sidetrack me, please, while I think.
I think where you were going was that next year we're going to submit panels of My Little Pony in the title that have nothing to do with My Little Pony. I think we've discussed this before. Like, the My Little Pony One Piece panel.
Do not
be like-
put this in
Just be like, fuck you. Fuck you.
Now, see, the thing is that they already have their My Little Pony panel
Yeah.
for away, so you can't. You'd have to do like MTAC.
It doesn't matter. Like, it's just gonna be hi, we're Chainsaw Buffet, fuck you, and that's gonna be the panel.
Well, it's not going to be My Little Pony for very long. Soon it's going to be, or Hitalia. Both of those are going away for Homestuck. And this frightens me.
I do not feel that My Little Pony is going away for Homestuck.
True.
I feel
the strength of
Homestuck
bronies
is
are strong.
I'm
But
not
what
even
you're saying
sure
is
what
that the Homestuck
Homestuck
fandom
is.
is becoming
There's a panel
weird
about it.
Fandom.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm not going to it.
There's a panel entitled, basically, what the fuck is Homestuck?
That doesn't make me interested in it.
Well, I mean, come on now.
Homestuck is a huge tangent we could go on.
It is.
And I don't know.
Well, more point is that Homestuck is, and it's its own big growing fandom. Although I'm not sure how well it's going to grow in the future, but that's an entirely separate subject.
Yeah.
But My Little Pony, I feel that you're looking now at 2 totally different demographics.
Yeah.
Whereas My Little Pony, the brony sensation are all adult males. And
Not
the
all.
majority of, I didn't say all,
But go on.
but the brony phenomenon is more or less regulated to adult males.
Screw you, I shouldn't like this, but I do.
Yeah.
That sort of
It's
The
one of those
4chan
things where it's
mentality.
like, it's... I saw this back in the day. It was called Sailor Moon.
We already did this just with Sailor Moon.
I deal with Powerpuff Girls. I never care for Sailor Moon.
Whereas, Homestuck is the domain of teenage girls on Tumblrs.
Tumblr, definitely. So you're saying that that the My Little Pony appeals to the 4chan demographic, whereas not Hitalia, where Homestuck appeals to the Tumblr demographic. I can totally see this.
Something like that, yeah.
But back to panels.
There is not a Chainsaw Buffet Tumblr, just as an aside.
Yeah. But,
Not yet.
Not ever.
But one of the other things I noticed in the panels that I did go to is even those panels that had the 30-minute block with nothing in between, very few of the panelists actually arrived early to take advantage of the prep time.
Yeah.
So we can't fault AWA for that.
Oh no, I wasn't
Although,
trying to place fault.
There were 2
No.
panels I went to that
It's
actually
just how it
started
Interesting thing that
5 or
was-
10 minutes early.
There.
Which to me was like a Christmas miracle. Like, I've never seen a panel at a convention start early. And there were 2 at one convention. That was freaking amazing.
I think we started one early at JMX one year.
we may have.
It was the D&D one. It's like everybody was already
I didn't go.
Yeah, everybody was already in there and asking us questions, so we're like,
Well, if your room is already filled, you're there early, people are there early, and you have extra material that you really don't want to go over, go ahead, start early.
yeah. We don't have material.
Because
We're
English
can't tell the
Jamboree
thing.
started early, as I recall.
Mhm.
Well, what I did was, whatever panel was in there, it was Prince Planet, which was fun. It was Dave Merrill and our buddy Rick talking about Prince Planet for like an hour. And they ended a little bit early. And so I was like, okay, cool. So I set mine up, and it was about 10 minutes left over of time, and people were already starting to fill in for English Jamboree. So I showed a couple of Pokemon rap videos.
Always good.
And then I played Japanese Girls covering Sabotage by the Beastie Boys.
Which I loved.
Because it was pretty much audio, and that gave people music to walk in on.
Mm-hmm.
And so I let that play for a bit, and I played another song as people were still filing in. That panel was the one panel where I had standing room in the back. People were actually looking in through the doors the whole time. Like, I was totally bigger than what that room could support. My other panels, they more or less fit the rooms that they put me in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that room was unfortunately just too, I need to be maybe not as big as Kennesaw, because I never filled Kennesaw.
Yeah.
But I need something in between Kennesaw and those
Kind of like the cosplay
panel
panels.
rooms.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, those are the same rooms. But those are the 1-0 blah rooms.
Yeah.
104, 105, 106. I was like in 106.
Yeah.
They're all the same size.
Mhm.
I'm the same size as a cosplay panel room. I need something in between those two sizes. I need bigger than, they don't have it.
Unfortunately.
But I need something bigger than that, but smaller than Kennesaw. Somewhere in between, and that doesn't exist.
Yeah, but looking at the schedule now, I'm noticing something. It's like panel 115, panel 117. It looks like AWA was trying to theme the panel rooms. Like, if you notice, all of the Japanese culture and mythology was in the same panel room. Now, granted, they were also done by the same person. The same person did Ghosts, Gods of Japan, and you look at it and you can see a clear theming of the panel rooms, which may have led to the schedule of something. Maybe AWA is trying to experiment here. I kind of like it.
Yeah.
But it leads to awkward size problems if the themes if the same theme has a variation in population interest.
Well, not only that, but, when you're theming all the rooms, that's assuming that you're going to have a relatively equal number of submissions for all the different themes, which never, ever happens.
I'd say this theming was an afterthought when the events director was looking at that.
I kind of wonder if it might just be, it happenstance, not like an intentional plan.
No,
More,
again,
this is just how it happened to turn out.
Again, if anything, it's an afterthought.
I do think that there are certain, they do have a cosplay panel room.
Oh, definitely.
They have a workshop.
They have a workshop room.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Mm-hmm.
But I think as far as other panels goes, they have, they have their big event panels, things like, your industry panels and whatnot.
And
that's
ballrooms.
that's where Kennesaw is used for. And then you have the big old events, stuff like, the concerts and the super big things that are, bigger than what Kennesaw can handle, but not quite main events. Stuff like, when they did the Greatest Animes openings and panel of doing the big, crowd getters, but not quite main events, but bigger than Kennesaw.
Yeah.
Getters.
Well, one of the panel rooms the ballrooms actually were quite interesting because those are variable. They have up to 6 different rooms, and they can combine them. They usually combine them into 2, ABC and ABE and CDF, and those fit between a 1-0 panel rooms and the Kennesaw room. Sometimes it depends on how they configure them, but they're usually filled with the raves and the bands and the cosplay judging anyway. So, AWA is working with what they got.
As an aside, I just thought of this. We're talking about things like cosplay panels and things like that. Does anyone else ever wonder if it's time for panels to take a different direction? Because say you go to a how-to cosplay panel.
Mhm.
Isn't that the kind of shit that you're going to look up online if you're really interested in doing it? Because you don't cosplay at the convention. You cosplay at home.
This actually comes up in like some of the developer conferences I've been to,
Mm-hmm.
in that like people will submit the same intro to technology X talks for a while.
And that's kind of a YouTube thing.
Well,
Or
yes
a
and no.
website
Like
thing.
it can be useful to. It's a different environment. It's being at a convention is a different environment where you might dedicate time to learning something you wouldn't otherwise. The interesting thing occurs is after a while, like you say, you do kind of do the same stuff over and over, and where you want to go with that is not intro to how to. It's
More of a kickstart.
and also getting into real world experiences, the 201 type stuff.
The thing to consider, and again, this is from my wife being a cosplayer and going to these panels.
Right.
She goes to these panels not because she doesn't know this stuff, but because she wants, question and answer. She wants to hear from the actual experts. She wants to hear from the actual experts, hear what their asides are. And, at the end of the panel, come up and ask a question that's personalized for her. That's something that's not covered on YouTube.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what I'm driving at, and just using cosplay as a general example.
Oh yeah, because it's an easy topic.
Yeah. Shouldn't that sort of, almost that Q&A more advanced sort of thing, shouldn't that really be, as Dylan was sort of saying, the 201 type stuff, that should really be the direction now.
It's hard to do, and I think it's really hard to get people to do this because you feel like you have to have this nice, well laid out intro, presentation with an outline and all this stuff. And going in and talking about real world experience is a little bit harder if it's not well structured.
Right.
Also, as soon as you have like a year where you've got a lot of stuff that's more intermediate level knowledge, there'll be people complaining about no basic level knowledge.
Yeah.
I guess my problem is, if you don't have any knowledge, go fucking do it yourself.
Well,
I guess.
Well, I kind of wonder if this also may be a case of, say, someone has been thinking about cosplay, but they're not sure where to start. They're not sure which YouTube videos to go find.
Exactly,
Yeah.
it's a
Like
where to start.
a simple one.
Well, no,
It's a good
consider
The other,
you ask these questions, and I answer to you. Look how freaking filled these panels are. These panels quite literally answer where to start. Some of Basil's panels do the same thing.
I question how many of those people actually, as you said, necessarily don't know how to do it and are going there either because they enjoy the subject matter or it's just a matter of course.
And I hate to say this, but I think this happens a lot. And again, I go back to developer conferences with this too. Is sometimes you have this idea that you want to do something. You go to the same intro panels over and over. You never really do it, just because. Yeah, it's hard. It's a huge step.
I think the number of people who repeat the same intro panels are low. There's enough cosplayers out there that you could go several years with the same pool of cosplayers, and by about 3 or 4 years, they'll finally get all of those cosplayers to get to each intro panel at least once.
Yeah, and also you get the asides, and
right.
They get something different each time they go, or they hope to.
I
they
think
just enjoy
my
it.
general experience is I've been going to conventions long enough that I no longer have panels to go to. They're just I've not to sound like condescending or anything, but I've been there, I've done that, I've seen it all. I've been to a large enough number of conventions over a long enough period of time that fuck it, what am I going to go to?
Here's a question for you: how many conventions a year do you go to?
We've gone to
a lot
this year.
How many?
okay,
We're not the target.
the answer to your question is, then why aren't you running your own panels?
Mm-hmm.
Because they wanted other podcasts to have a turn at it this year.
Well, okay, that's a different story.
But my point being is the average consumer will go at most to three cons at a year. Most of them, about a grand majority, will go to one.
Right.
And for those once a year con goers, these intro panels are a great resource for them, hands down.
And I guess my point is that, I, about 3 or 4 years ago, I came to the same problem you did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
where I've been going to AWA since AWA 5. This is like 16 or 17.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been going to this convention for over a decade. I have learned a lot. I have, and it's not the only con I go to. And I realize that, I know a lot. I don't know as much as some.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say I'm like the most knowledgeable person ever.
Right.
But I know a good bit. And so I decided to and more than just a podcasting panel.
Yeah.
That's why you see when I'll do panels about anime and manga in general, or I'll pick a creator that I like and I want to talk about them. I find subjects that I want to discuss and talk about, and things that I feel that people need to know, but they may not quite know yet.
Uh-huh.
And so that's what I meant by why aren't you running some panels? Take that knowledge, take that expertise that you have, and give it to everybody else so they can start learning stuff too.
Because I haven't figured out a proper way to channel my rage at the younger generation.
Okay, that's fine.
But I
Panels
think our problem especially is that, at least from my perspective, is there aren't a lot of anime panels I can do. GMX, I can do a ton of panels, but you're right. You kind of, like you said, you expect the people who are doing panels to have this genius level of knowledge, perfectly organized, be able to communicate that to a person who is completely new to it, where you really just have to jump in and figure out what you know that...
Right, and what do you want to communicate, what do you want to talk about.
And you're probably putting the idea of running a panel on a pedestal.
Yeah.
And it's, there's only so much you can convey in an hour.
And also, there's always, if you know, and AWA has that, about to move to a side, AWA put it on an online schedule app.
Yeah.
App in sort of a general sense. It wasn't like an app for iPhone or Android, which I feel was a mistake. But there was a PC app that you could go and you could customize and create your own schedule and share it. And you could choose, and not like the program book, but every single panel they told you in this had their speaker listed. So, for example, I know that Walter Amos and Robert Fenelon, they're two of the OG fans, early Yamato days. They still dress up like guys from Legend of Galactic Heroes, even now. But they watch anime, even now. And those panels that they run at AWA are godlike.
They are.
They are top tier. They are some of the best you're going to find. And you can only find AWA because they know the guys who have been running AWA for years, and they're not going anywhere else. And so I found those panels. Those also are a lot of the really filled, packed panels.
Oh, yeah.
Ancient Anime was one of them. And I'm sure those panels are going to be interesting. They're going to be neat. I'm going to learn things that I've never known before, and I'm going to leave that as a smarter panel goer than I did entering.
There's also a second group that the intro panels and the ancient panels both address. We're reaching a point where you're going to have two simultaneous generations going into anime, gaming, etc. It's getting to the point where people are bringing their kids to see the anime and to see the stuff that they themselves love. You're going to be seeing anime dads and anime son right next to each other in the same room, side by side.
Fuck those kids.
Well,
that's going to be Tristan.
Okay, that's
Katara. That's Nathan's kids right there.
The two generations thing, can backfire. Our generation is different than the new generation.
And I'm not talking about the generations of people who got introduced to the animes in the 80s and 90s, like I was, and those who got introduced by Naruto. No, I'm talking about people who got introduced to the anime in the 60s and 70s and bringing their kids who grew up to anime of the millennium.
Yeah.
What I was actually trying to get at was the fact that there's always, if you know what to look for, you can always find a panel that will be interesting, where you can say that you've done everything, you've seen it all. At least at places like AWA and possibly other things like Otakon, I guarantee that I can fill you at a panel where you have not.
Yeah. And to be honest...
But the only reason why I know that is because I've been going to this con so long, I know whose panels to go to.
Yeah.
I go to Basil's, for instance.
And that's great, but I've only been doing this for 3 or 4 years now. It's, I guess, 5. Holy crap. God, time passes.
Yes, it does.
but I've not been doing it as long as other people have. And they're certainly there, and I'm great, and I'm glad that people think I'm a great panel runner, and that makes me very happy, and I'm very flattered and slightly embarrassed. But
You're not embarrassed.
a little bit, it's occasionally I don't realize I have confidence sometimes.
Sometimes
He's becoming one of those.
Yeah,
podcasts.
he is.
I don't
We're all going to be crying and holding each other by the
It's
end.
3 in the fucking morning. What do you want?
I'm not holding any of you. Just so
I will
tears will taste
study
like
stuff,
vinegar.
I will learn stuff, and I will spout that stuff out. But sometimes I realize that and I know that I'm smarter than the average bear, but sometimes I kind of forget that people put me on a higher pedestal than I realize that I'm on.
Oh,
Moving on.
That's probably for the best.
If I've heard anything of, if there's anything to take away about the panels in AWA, they want more.
yeah.
Every convention always wants more panels because it only helps.
Yeah, and you can complain all you want about the panels thing that a convention is running, but unless someone submits, can't do anything. And the trick is just finding the right angle, the angle that you can kind of work.
There's always a niche to fill somewhere,
So
including angry rant panels.
Actually, yes.
I really did want to submit
Yes.
one of these years. Your favorite anime sucks, and here's why.
Actually, do it, because we did have an angry rant panel where it was nothing but angry ranting about what was wrong with you people in Hamacon.
There was one at MomoCon as well.
It was our main
It was
events.
amazing.
It was in the main events room, our biggest room we had, and it was packed. People loved it. So there you go. Channel all of your anger and insult all of your audience. They'll come back for more.
People like Lewis Black. There you go.
Be the Gilbert Gottfried of AWA.
I'd rather not, say something about the Japanese and get fired from my job with that. Like,
Yeah, you want to watch that, but you can still channel your anger all the same.
yes.
It's okay. You can never be as racist as English Jamboree.
I could be, but
You could be, but you'd have to try. And
So-
you'd have to reach out to a wider base of targets and that.
look, you had to be a Lupin series that's set in South Africa where they paint Zenigata in blackface, and so therefore they beat him up and take him away
Oh wow.
because he's a blackie.
So,
So yeah.
Yeah, the panel of Doom totally
Mr.
outracist me.
Popo.
I was kind of sad.
yes, they did.
Maybe you should have gone with the
Are you from Alabama?
Like-
You're from Alabama. Is this a competition there?
Yes.
We're from Huntsville, Alabama. We're the exception,
most of the time.
Sometimes.
usually.
So anyways, how about that dealer's room?
Well, how's the guy selling Nazi costumes while we're on racism?
Oh my god.
The dealer's room is becoming more and more of the autograph room. I mean,
It's
there are
years.
less vendors there than there this year than there were in previous years.
Well, here's
Mike,
okay.
just to let you know, that's the dealer's room was smaller when you came here last. That room is way bigger than it was before, and it's also included that stuff in addition to all the dealer's room tables they've got.
That's true.
To AWA's defense regarding less space in the dealer's room this year and more for the autograph lines, you have to think about who's there, who's signing autographs, and the massive ego that has to be contained within said dealer's room. Not calling out any names.
You know who you are.
Yeah.
And it's not treating the
He's our biggest fan.
They had two of them this year. Anyways,
Is this a podcast or a troll cast?
Yes.
Yes.
all I'm saying is that they had two voice actors this year, and apparently they do not always get along, from what I'm told.
I can't imagine a single reason why.
Anyways, the dealer's room had Dragon Quest merchandise, so therefore it's the best dealer's room of the year.
I actually managed to find more than 2 Macross toys. I was quite proud until I looked at how broken and old they were.
I found a $35 Zero toy for $60, and I said, fuck this shit. I'm not paying $60 to get signed by someone that...
I'm still creeped out by the Nazi stuff. I'm still creeped out by the Nazi guy.
Wasn't that at the free item booth?
It's a Hetalia outfit.
Yeah, it's for the Hetalia
quote
cosplayers.
unquote.
But he's got like Nazi flags. I saw a portrait with Hitler in it over there at one point.
Are you sure you're not exaggerating? Because I did not see this.
I didn't see.
It wasn't there when I went back by, which is what really disturbs me.
But the armbands didn't have a swastika.
No, there was
they
no-
just had words.
There was
Yeah.
not much of the way of blatant. They're like, I think there was a German flag with a swastika as part of it.
We should,
But
I love how we're all focusing on this one tiny booth in the dealership.
it's
should totally interview
it's
that
like
guy.
the farthest
Ask him
booth
what
away
it's
from
like
anybody,
to
though.
races.
It's like,
Yeah.
But what I have noticed is that there's less Japanese game imports. It used to
yeah,
be
there's
a big
usually at least
thing.
two
Yeah.
booths, and I only found the one.
It was
this
more
year.
of a half a booth. It was
That's
more
because
half
those
a
guys
booth.
rip you right the fuck off.
While they do, their presence still went. Their lack of presence was still noticed.
From what I understand, one of the dealers that deal that sort of thing just couldn't make it this year.
Yeah.
I mean, there was also different dealers this year than there have been in the past.
I've noticed that.
Some of the regular ones I've normally seen have not been here this year for whatever reason.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
there was a bunch of regulars I didn't see, but they
I
still
wonder how
filled
much
up.
of that has to do with was it starting last year that they moved the date on AWA back? It was either last year or the year before that they moved it back a little bit, so it wasn't.
Coinciding with Japan Fest or the Japan Fest move?
No, it was really more of a Dragon Con move because it was like
yeah.
2 weeks after Dragon Con, yeah, the AWA, which.
Well, I guess that leads us right next to from dealer's room to the artist alley now.
Oh my gosh, so much better this year.
I have to agree. Last time I came to AWA was 2 years ago when the artist alley was still right in front of registration. The artists were
Yes.
miserable, the registrars were visible, and the staff was miserable. Now they put, and this is pure genius, they put the convention cheapo food court in the same warehouse area as the artist alley.
And in the back.
And in the back, and everyone was happy for it.
Yep.
The artists did not have to travel far from their table to get food.
Well, what happened was last year was that we actually covered this in the AWA's podcast then, was that it was this weird H thing where you would walk in and in the beginning area of that H, that open space,
Yeah.
there were just open tables.
Oh.
And then the rest of it was Artist Alley stuff. And so no one had any reason to go all the way to the back of the Artist Alley. So there were a lot of artists who just got no penetration as far as people walking by. This time they put the food truck-esque things in the very back. That cleared up traffic in the hallways
Considerably.
in the convention center. And B, it gave everyone reason to go all the way to the back to look at all the artist alleys, going back and forth, so that all the artists got decent penetration as far as walking around and window shopping.
All of the
I can
artists...
confidently say I think that's probably one of the best improvements they've made over
Agreed.
over last year.
Yeah.
And for the most part, all of the artists were happy. And it was a good spot for the cosplay photography booth as well, which they had.
Yeah.
And I noticed that they moved karaoke, again, because the video rooms and the video game rooms encroached in the usual karaoke spot. But the karaoke was moved to the mall food court this time for late night.
Which was interesting.
It was. It provided musical entertainment.
awful.
Well, it provided musical entertainment, both good, bad, and whoa.
Yeah.
And Maria sang way off key.
I was not going to name names.
Oh.
But thankfully,
But
we
I
have
actually,
you.
I don't know any of these people. I was just like, no. What? Who thought this was a good idea?
Well-
the karaoke thing should be in another hotel in another state on the sun.
On the, I'm actually going to, I'm going to defend the placement of the karaoke here. It's where people who don't care go to have fun. And where's the best place to grab people who don't care than those who are just too tired to care or too hungry to care?
I guess it makes sense. It gets people out of the main.
It gets people out of the main areas. You don't have to find the karaoke. It's there, and you go like, you know what? I feel like making a fool out of
And
myself.
whether you like it or hate it, karaoke is insanely popular.
Yes.
Even if the people who run it may not want to run it.
No.
Like,
It's not ever going away.
Well, look at it this way. You can tune it out pretty much the same way you can tune out a live band in a bar.
you
I-
don't.
I strongly disagree. I can't disagree with this strongly enough. There are some things you can't tune out. The screeching, oh my god, I'm pissing my pants because this is so awesome.
More importantly, the way you drown out a bad band in a bar is you drink more. You can't drink more in the middle of a mall.
Right?
Well, I mean,
Thankfully,
you might,
That's
but
an
you have to be.
important point.
Challenge accepted.
Thankfully, all of the convention rooms in the upper floor were soundproofed.
Yeah, but I had to look
Yeah.
for the arcade. While my ears were bleeding, and I'm like, well,
How was video games? I haven't had a chance to look.
really liked what they did moving it into the mall. A lot more room. It was way more crowded this year than it was last year. Like last year, I was able to sneak in at some points and
I couldn't find the arcade.
and get some games in.
Could it be
But,
possible because it was much easier to get to, and it's not in those small, cramped hallways to feed around into
I
them?
thought it was easier to get to last year because you just got off the elevator and boom, there it was next to on the second floor next to all the other gaming rooms. So it was centrally located. But now it's like off in the mall, and then it's like off in a corner. And if you don't know where it is, it's tough to find. But everyone knows where it is.
To AWA's credit, the one thing that you can definitely tell from all of this is they have learned from experience traffic flow. Pretty much the only complaint I ever had about traffic flow this time was just people stopping in the middle of a hallway to take pictures of cosplayers. That always happens. Every convention. You can't get rid of it. They got rid of all the other problems. Except the elevators, but they can't control that.
They tried.
They try. They try hard.
So anyways, what did you like in the video game rooms? What did you dislike?
Really, there are a lot of weird games in there this year. Dylan and I saw one that had naked ladies on it.
It was the arcade room.
Yeah.
We walked by and I
I
was
was like,
surprised they could have that.
I wasn't
at all.
surprised that they could have it or that it was there or that it existed. I was just like, it's just a weird ass fucking game. I mean,
There are times I get confused as to whether or not AWA is a family-friendly con or an adult con.
Yes.
and this is sort of a technical gripe. A lot of the cabinets sucked. Like, they had sticky buttons or, really stiff controls. I was playing a Final Fight cabinet that I literally had to just, lean on to get the character to move. And, I'm very picky about, precision controls, because I'm a fighting game player. And so I'm having to, just the controls. It's never a fun time.
Did you make it to any tournaments?
I made it to the Marvel tournament and played there. Didn't do as well as I'd like. Of course, there's only one thing worth mentioning, and that's winning. So,
Well, was it well ran? Did you feel that it was taken care of correctly? Were the setups, decent?
The setups were mostly decent. They had a couple of laggy setups. The problem I had was that, and this was the same way last year, is that they had 10 setups, and the first, couple of rounds, they're all running at the same time, and then after that, there were matches they could have been running, but they weren't.
Were any of the rooms filled to capacity at any time?
Yes.
The many times I went by, they were not. But on the flip side, I can safely say none of the video game rooms smelled whenever I passed by them.
Marvel was pretty full when it first started. Then those people got eliminated or just wandered off. Which I hate when people just wander the fuck off during a tournament. I'm like, you know what? No, you're going to buckle in. I don't care if you have to piss your pants. You're going to be here. You're going to show up when your name's called. You're going to play your match. You're going to get the fuck off when you're done.
Or at least forfeit, realize you're forfeiting when you don't show up.
Yeah.
True.
For your round.
True.
Well, it's like they'll show up for the first round and then they'll just be gone in the next. And that happened a couple times. I'm like, the fuck?
And yeah, so we covered live action video gaming. Well, sort of. We covered
Live action video gaming.
Well, live action gaming.
That's Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter the movie.
That's 3:30 in the morning talking. We've covered live action gaming.
Video gaming.
We've covered video gaming. We covered panels. We covered cosplay. We've covered traffic and food and artist alley and dealer's room. What else was there about AWA? Kevin, you haven't spoken up much.
That's what I'm going to give me a horrible label.
And that was Kevin, folks.
You know, that was my favorite part of the convention, too.
Indeed.
And tomorrow I'm gonna go defend my title at Press Your Luck and bother some more fuckers at trivia.
I must admit, I love Grego's games. I love the games that he's bringing to the Con.
Also, John?
Yeah.
If you win another pass to my Con,
I'm gonna keep it and I'm gonna use it.
You are going to immediately take, even though you don't actually have a pass, you're going to find someone in that audience that you think looks remotely cool, and you're going to get them to go to my convention.
Sure.
You are already getting into that my con for free because I love you.
I get into every con for free. I haven't paid for a con in like 4
and
years.
if you had the opportunity to give away a pass to my con, you take it. You do not keep it. You're already getting it for free. I need someone else to show up to my con that might bring their friends and give me revenue.
I would say we could
Give you revenue.
give it away as a raffle for some sort of prize
Then
on
we
our
just go to
podcast.
then we just go to like Patrick or Doctor who wouldn't show up.
Yeah, there'd be
You
like
see,
a
the
handful
problem with this plan,
listeners.
Basil, is he can totally send us the bottom of the dregs.
Whatever. If they bring their friends, they pay money for other passes. I don't care.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Basil's a capitalist.
Put dollars on the bills.
Basil's the PR guy and I'm the operations guy. Yeah.
Careful,
One more person, one more group isn't gonna.
careful you don't give Basil too much power. Next thing you know, he'll move it to Birmingham.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
no. I'm not stupid. I'm not crazy.
Birmingham, where conventions go to die.
No, God.
And minorities.
Oh.
We just went there. Well, true.
We're not refuting it. We just
The
don't.
worst thing we've said.
No one here refuting that, so.
There's worse places than Birmingham and
Hi,
Halifax.
would you like some more awkward silence? I just had some for dessert.
I would love some awkward silence. It's better than the
Yeah,
alternative.
surprised me is when they
Awkward
had.
silence draw.
What surprised me is they had a showing of the Macross Love Do You Remember movie on Blu-ray, and
In
nowhere.
raw Japanese.
Yeah,
at
in
that.
raw Japanese. Nowhere was it advertised that it was raw.
No.
But I'm surprised how many people just stayed and watched it.
Actually, out of all the people that came in, which was not many, it did not fill the room as I hoped it would be, but I'm a personal fan like you. There was about 30 people that came in.
Yeah, roughly.
When the movie finally started, half an hour later, there was 25 people there. And when the movie ended, there was 25 people there.
Yeah.
By golly, we were all hardcore Macross fans, and yeah, it was totally my fault we started applauding that Minmay getting slapped.
It deserves it.
You know, bitch dated her cousin. It's fine.
The cousin forced the kiss. But, moving on,
She let him on.
I also saw the last half hour of the Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works movie, which through Michael I realized that the Fate Stay Night universe is completely incomprehensible if you have no introduction
It's
to
so
it.
true. And then we realized that is very typical of Type Moon.
Yes.
But
And the dub is horrible, but the subtitle
Arthur's
translation is
shit.
worse.
But it's interesting you
This
bring up
guy's really
Macross.
that guy from the future, but he's all pissed off. Nemo? Okay.
It's interesting you bring up Macross Do You Remember Love, because Gundam gets all the love, and the other mecha shows don't. Because Macross, they were not legally allowed to show subtitles for it. Their plan was to set up a secondary screen and a second projector and show a summary of the scene you were watching while watching it in raw Japanese.
Wow.
They could not get that going. That's the reason why it was delayed for half an hour. And so we just ended up watching it by itself in raw Japanese.
So was Harmony Gold just like sitting there with snipers in case somebody tried to...
For all
subtitles?
I actually think some of Harmony Gold is here at the con, so yes.
For all intents and purposes, it might as well be. This is how much, excuse my language, how much shit any anime publisher in the U.S. has to go through.
Speaking of shit, people sold their shit on Thursday night like Dylan. Super Happy Fun Sale. Talk about it. Go.
Why, how?
Oh, I sat at my table most of the day, so perhaps I'm not the one to talk about it.
Thursday night, they do what they call the Super Happy Fun Sale, which is an anime con yard sale flea market.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus.
So far, the only place I've actually spent money. I've not spent anything in the dealer's room.
Are you broke?
No.
Wow.
No, like you buy a table and you get to set up shop, and you have a few hours you sell and hawk your leftover wares you don't want anymore.
If you're me, you go find Dave Merrill's table, see if he has any old robot-related stuff to sell, and you buy it, and then you go on.
So people were selling their old posters, manga, wall scrolls.
And then you sell the stuff that you buy there next year.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
So-
you do tend to accumulate after a while.
What you're saying is I could go to Basil or Kevin's house, grab a random cardboard box, take it to this table, open it up, sell it, and
free money.
Not only
Free money.
it would be free money that they would never notice.
Yep.
I would notice.
Only because you lost your third chair.
Although, to be fair, if I wanted to load up, I wonder how much of it I could actually move.
Would you have a place to sleep again?
Yes.
That says so much.
It's on shelves.
Well, I was referring to the parts that weren't.
It's a neat idea. I actually kind of wish more cons would do it, because you can find some neat stuff.
I need to
Well,
keep some money.
that is
Also-
all Dave Merrill, because he's all about the yard sales and throwing stuff and doing the flea market style thing. Like, he does it
Yeah.
for Anime North as well, I think, or he does it somewhere in Canada. He's got one, and this was his idea. He's like, I do this stuff all the time. I think this would work out, and it has. It's packed every year, and it gets more and more packed.
Yeah, there's people waiting in line, because it doesn't open until, I want to say, like an hour after registration opens. And there's people lined up at the door to get in.
Yeah.
So.
And their layout was, their table layout was so improved.
Mm-hmm.
Because I want to think it was last year. It might have been the year before. But the way they had the table layout at that point,
Just look at
there were times
grid.
where I was looking, and there were times I was looking at a table and I'd turn around and realize that I was behind somebody else's table.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of times like, I feel like, if you're not watching your cash box, something could go missing real easy. But the way they have it now with the sort of two squares in the middle of the room and then along the walls, I thought was...
How was your registration experience? I noticed you guys are wearing pre-regs and we got our panelist badges, but how was your registration experience with AWA this year?
I didn't have to stand in a line because we had one person pick up my press badge, so...
Honestly, that ended up being a complaint with the group we traveled with.
Yeah, I saw that.
Because Jeff of Haas had to come in and pick up all the badges for everyone at Haas, which left him having to skip whatever panels he wanted to go to, and I understand why AWA did it. It's just, for pre-reg large groups, you better go with early start.
That is his fault for not playing ahead.
Yeah, that is.
True.
Like, he could have woken up really early in the morning and made sure that he was in line,
Mm-hmm.
and he could have got it first thing in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and he would be good to go. No, he did not plan ahead.
No.
And he did not. He had an option. They could have done early start.
But
$35 for the whole group. Everyone gets their badges mailed to them personally. No other con I know does that.
yeah, I know it. But the question I have is when you got to the window, how quick and organized did they seem to be to find and give you your
It
badge?
depends on which line you went to.
Yeah.
That's true.
If you went to just pre-reg or walk in the door reg, it was actually decently quick.
Yeah.
However, the one that he had to go to was this weird mix of groups, comp badges, press badges, industry badges, all other badges that weren't regular pre-reg
Which
or
you
walk-in.
picked up, I think you said.
Yes. Time breaks down in that line.
And, well, it's because they had to find everyone in the group, all their badges. They only have like one or two people at most working that booth, whereas they got multiple people for either of the others.
And usually they don't know the hell's going on.
Well,
Right.
on the flip side, you can look at it that they consolidated the problem badges to one window.
Time breaks down. It takes longer to stand in the line than it actually takes to stand in the line.
It actually, I think the person who picked up our media badges got in the line at the same time I got in the pre-reg line. And
Her line was much shorter, and you guys got done about the same time.
Yeah, so... I mean, it's a shorter line, but that doesn't necessarily translate to less time.
That's just how it works now. I kind of wish that groups were its own thing and all the comp and industry and fancy badges were a separate thing, selfishly. But
Yeah, well, hey. I like how they had, giant guest badges here.
yep, the badges are cool.
Yep.
I do really like the sort of color-coded...
How media badges and panelists are teal, pre-regs.
Teal, no, then this is seafoam green. This is Under the Sea. This is Sebastian the Crab. Check it out, that's a nice.
I'm a guy. I have a grand total of 10 color names to give. Moving on.
But I do like the
Everything's
conventions
better
that
when you are
where your
me.
badges
Yeah,
are
'cause
either
I don't know,
color-coded
fuck it.
or totally different badges for different groups, so that staff members can recognize.
Oh yeah, having a color-coded badge is great, especially for how many days. If it's a minor, there are some cons that are giving out badges for minors, so you can quickly identify them.
That's dangerous.
That is dangerous.
I'm not a fan of that because it's so easy to switch a badge with someone who's not a minor. Who is a minor.
Good point.
You still have to card them for the 18+ badges anyway, for the 18+ panels anyway. But I've been seeing different color badges for panelists, guests, pre-regs, 3 days, 1 days, Sunday only, Saturday only. And of course, as I said before, the guests have giant badges, and staff had red badges, and the directors had black badges, which seems to be common through many cons. I've noticed the directors are black.
Black's power color.
What you trying to say?
Are you trying to say all people running cons look alike?
I'm saying white just ain't that cool, man.
I'm saying Birmingham is where directors go to die.
We're back
We
to
always
there.
cycle back
We've come
around
back
racism.
full circle.
It's okay, I've got black friends.
You just sounded like Donald Trump.
Thanks. You're fired.
No, he didn't sound crazy enough.
This is the most
Disconnected
racist
from reality.
podcast on the Citadel.
So, should we just get into final thoughts? Because
Sure.
we've been recording for some time, right?
Yes, we've
good
been
bit of
going
time.
about an hour at this point.
Oh,
We've been going for several racist jokes now.
no, you have been going for several racist jokes.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
we all
racist,
agreed with them.
Unless I'm being racist against whites in Birmingham.
I hate
All right,
all
Dylan,
races
you glorious
equally.
piece of man meat. What is your final thoughts?
I'm afraid and creeped out. Oh, I mean about the con.
Also afraid and creeped out.
No, I'm trying to think. I don't know. I think I've covered everything.
All right, we keep you around for your body, not for your brains. John, finish them.
Come here. Like the improvements to...
Boy, you really are creeped out, aren't you, Dylan? you're just like, oh, God.
Basil. It's John's turn.
Sorry, just the look on his face was glorious.
Yes,
I
we
think
know
that's 3:30.
Yeah, probably.
Dylan's afraid that I've said something bad about blacks and really I've been saying bad things about white people the entire time. But
Okay, anyways, you were saying.
Improvements.
That's
You like them.
better.
I like the improvements to the spacing and the placement of a lot of things. I really fucking hate the karaoke, and if you want to go to the karaoke, go to a bar that's far away from where I'm at, and isn't blaring it loudly where you can hear it at all parts of the convention all fucking time.
Preferably on the sun.
Yes,
Keep in mind, folks, John hates people. Everyone people.
it's true. That's a true fact. But I think they've made some interesting moves, and hopefully it'll allow them to grow without overrunning the place with children and bronies and people wearing cosplays that aren't in no way, shape, or form related to anime. But there's some meme on the internet that I've never fucking heard of until I asked my wife, and she's like, "Oh, that's Slender Man." I'm like, what the fuck is a Slender Man?
Well, Slenderman.
Incidentally, to go back to a point you made, I think you have to hate people to be a regular on Chainsaw Buffet.
You have
Point
to hate
noted.
people to love people.
So anybody in Birmingham,
No, I didn't say you had to hate specific people. You have to hate
Humanity.
all people.
I only say conventions go to die in Birmingham because, let's face it, Birmingham is not a geek town. It isn't by any stretch.
You go back.
Since you're already talking,
if
Michael.
you're a geek and you go to Birmingham, you go back the way you came.
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts for me? Well, as a casual con goer, that is to say less than 8 times a year, I liked AWA a lot, and I liked all of their improvements. They made a lot of good they made a lot of good moves, not very many bad moves, and it was a great experience for me to just relax and get rid of all my stress. Brain Bleach. Got plenty of that through Totally Lame, Anime Hell, Panel of Doom. Oh god. I'm a masochist. Kevin, your turn.
Yeah, Cthulhu Fatan.
Basil, go.
I always have a great time at AWA. I've never had a out and out bad year. This year, because I've been so busy, I couldn't go to panels early, and so I missed out on all the really panels. A lot of them I really wanted to go to. I went to a couple. Like I went to Art of Fanservice, which was pretty good, and a couple others. But the ones I really wanted to go to, like Americans in Anime and Ancient Anime and some other stuff, they were cram-packed full of people, and I just couldn't get in, which is great.
It is.
For those panels, but it sucks for me.
Well, Basil, just know that your pain meant AWA is succeeding.
Point. So someone hasn't gone yet.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin.
You did.
Yeah, Shub Nuggereth, Black Goat of the Woods with 1,000 Young.
Let's go for another someone.
So far, so good. It's always not usually one of those conventions where I notice changes. Like most of the years I've gone, I've not. I guess the changes are generally more subtle, so maybe I don't pick up on them. This was probably the biggest shift I've seen between years, and for the most part, for the better. The only downside being that I don't recall ever not being able to get into a panel at all. So that's kind of new. That there were several panels I couldn't get into, but yeah. The changes mostly for the better. Although I struggled to figure out what I've done this weekend. Like I know, like some weekends I'm tired and I spend a lot of time in the room. I've been in our hotel room very little. I've been out on the floor. I don't know what I was doing.
We've also been very busy with stuff for the for the site. But.
Yeah, so I did a lot of something. It wasn't panels, but
There was something to do.
Apparently.
I have found I have had that problem as well. I don't know what the inside of my hotel room looks like anymore.
Yeah, for me, I know that's late Saturday night, but it doesn't feel like it should be Saturday night.
No,
yet.
Yes.
it feels more like a Friday night still.
Yeah, I feel like tomorrow should be like a full day, and then I should have a Sunday after that. But tomorrow's Sunday,
Shame.
and it's like I've been having fun, but yeah, it does feel like it's moved a little too fast this year.
To clarify, it became Sunday over 3.5 hours ago.
Well,
that's why this is so distracting.
Not in Basiltown.
I think it's time to take Basil to bed, everyone.
Yes. Oh.
Good night, everybody.
Jackie Chan, who do we need? Jackie Chan, who do we love? Jackie Chan, whoa, 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 whoa.
Who do we want? Basil. Who do we want to get a fucking slave?
You actually are clipping there.
I can't help that. Like, art happens, art occurs. You can't do that any softer.
Basil, that's not art. That's simply Basil.
That is an art.
We're at AWA, Hulk Hogan.
That is the Basil experience.
Indeed.
Yep, a roller coaster.
This podcast
shame.
has started
Respect.
officially. This podcast officially
TM.
starts with a Basil experience. TM.
Circle R.
Fine, here we go, Dylan.
Oh my.
Who do we want? OSMcast. Who do we need? OSMcast. Whoa! Whoa!
Wow, that clipping was pretty awesome.
Isn't it amazing? We just need someone to start so we can focus.
I did start. I know what your problem is.
Basil can't help it that he's the best stars.
Yeah, it's true.
Basil's spice.
Basil, just start with a hi, everybody.
Oh.
Basil no longer needs the weirding module.
It's technically not officially my podcast.
Yeah, this is if it were Basil's podcast, he'd say, awesome date, 6 months ago because I haven't fucking posted it.
Wait, editing is our jurisdiction. You did say that.
Yeah,
It's our
it's
strong
true.
point. Recording is yours.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. Editing is your strong point. Getting stuff recorded is mine.
There's a 72 episode backlog of the OSMcast.
Awesome date.
No,
Drunk o'clock.
Just like 4.
Awesome.
Just like 4.
Tell you what, I nominate you to start us off.
Yes,
All right,
please.
fine.